Alright guys, how's it going? NewAge here with our team building, yeah, there you go. Our team building video for the first week of the NPCC league battles. This week we're up against the Minnesota Wild Charge, and I don't know really how this is supposed to go, but it's it's gonna be pretty casual. But I am basically just gonna go over what I'm choosing for my team, why I chose it, and all that stuff. So one side I'll have like the damage calcs and stuff. The other side I'll have like just what I need to show you guys. So looking at his team, it's basically this roster right here. So he's got Heatran, Gyarados, Honchkrow, Machamp, Rhyperior, Electivire, Goodra, Dusclops, Reuniclus, Gramble, and Mega Venusaur. My team is up here. If you want to know like my full team, it's these two. But down here is the 6 that I decided to bring. Now, before I get into the specific Pokemon, I want to say a few things that I noticed about his team. One, his team is very slow. The only thing that has like actual speed is Electivire, and then he has a few things that have decent speed, like Venusaur, kind of base 80, and Gyarados. Yeah, Gyarados and Heatran are around the same area. Otherwise his team is very, very slow. He does have Trick Room options with Reuniclus. That is something I'm kind of not gonna take into consideration. Basically, I'll explain why. He has a lot of like really offensive Pokemon that I'm afraid of. And I feel like with his team, he can't bring Trick Room and like all of the offensive Pokemon I'm afraid of. So my thing is, if he really wants to bring Trick Room, that'll mean he'll have to bring a few of his weaker, bulky Pokemon. And if that's the case, I don't think I'll be too afraid of them. I'm also not really counting on him to bring Reuniclus. I don't know if that's a bad idea on my part. I'll look into some more calcs later for that. And I guess I'll say that this team is open to change. But this is pretty much what I think I'm gonna stick to for now. So that being said, some of the main threats that I'm worried about on his team, Electivire can be a threat if it's Choice Scarfed. Rhyperior, I don't really want to set up on me. That's a sketchy thing. Machamp, I'd say, is probably his biggest threat to my team, as well as Heatran. I don't necessarily have a way to beat it. I could have brought Rhydon, but between like Mega Venusaur and things like Goodra, and then the fact that Heatran and Gyarados can both be special, it doesn't really seem like Rhydon is a good choice for this game. Granted, I would like to have Rocks. I can't bring Rhydon, and I really can't bring Ferrothorn just because of Heatran, and then Machamp. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't have room. And then he could like have HP Fire on his Venusaur and Fire Blast on Goodra. There's just a lot of things that make me not want to bring those two. Same reason I'm not bringing a Trevenant, just so many fire threats. And then he has a Honchkrow as well, so that doesn't go well for my Trevenant. I guess I'm going to go over the reasons why I didn't bring some of the Pokemon first. And then Umbreon I didn't want to bring, really just because, again, things like Machamp and Gramble. And like he has a lot of like bulky stall Pokemon, so there's like Venusaur, Heatran. Umbreon has trouble with those Pokemon, so I didn't really want to bring that one, especially like also Electivire has access to fighting moves, so there's a lot of like fighting threats, things like that. My team is decent, kind of weak to fighting. So these are the 6 that I brought. So first off, let's see, who will I start with? I'm gonna start with Manectric. Manectric is a really interesting set that I'm gonna try and have fun this league and see if I can make some of this stuff work. But there's reasons why I chose all this stuff. So first off, the I want to talk about the EV investment and the natures and stuff. Basically, like I said before, his team is very slow. Meaning that I really don't have to run much speed to outspeed him. This right here, the 56 speed, modest nature. Modest means that I hit like as hard as I can, which I really like for Mega Manectric in this battle. And the 56 speed puts me at 162. So basically, I'll show you guys that right here. What that does is it puts me 1 point higher, 161 right there. It puts me 1 point higher than a Jolly max speed Electivire. And what I feel like that's important, because the main thing that kind of scares me, and I'll explain why later, is a choice scarfed Electivire. So honestly, I'd want to know right off the bat if he's choice scarfed, because that'll help me make a lot of decisions later on in the game, which is another reason why for the next move I have Protect and Magnet Rise. Now Protect I really feel like I need just to be able to get that speed, since I'm not running max speed and regular Manectric is not that fast. And regular Manectric is weak to things like Earthquake and all that. So I really want Protect just for the speed, and I also really only need these two moves right here with Volt Switch and Hidden Power Ground. So this is why I gave it Magnet Rise. Say I'm going up against Electivire. Basically I can Protect the first turn, Mega Evolve, and Intimidate the Electivire. Then the next turn I will outspeed him unless he's Scarfed. But even if he is Scarfed, a max attack Jolly Scarfed Electivire at -1 does not one-shot me with my investment. I think even at neutral it does not one-shot me. And this is Life Orb as well. It's not even Choice Scarf, so let's give it like a random item. So that's how much it does normally, and then -1, it doesn't even two-shot me, which is amazing. While Hidden Power Ground is good for a lot of things. One of them being Electivire, which for one won't be able to touch me. Two, I can two-shot it. And that brings me to another Pokemon that I'll explain the moveset as well. Being Heatran. Oh my gosh, wow, I'm so good at this, you guys. I'm sorry. How do I make it go down the middle? No, okay, whatever. So another one of them being Heatran. So Heatran, and I'm just gonna like show you guys calcs so you can like understand the decisions I'm making. So this is, I'll put it even at max. Calm, max HP, max special defense. Heatran gets two-shotted by HP Ground. Now the reason I gave it Hidden Power Ground is because I feel like that's definitely one of his switches. Looking at his team, Venusaur could be a switch as well, as could Rhyperior, and Goodra. I mean, he definitely has some switches, but a lot of switches that I would love to hit coming in. Like I said, Heatran is a threat for my team. Electivire, just having the option, just because Electivire runs Earthquake commonly, having HP Ground for that would be amazing. And Heatran can't really do anything to me, especially if I have Magnet Rise up. So the reason I have Volt Switch over Overheat is, for one, Heatran. I don't want to deal with giving Heatran a boost or anything. Two, he has Mega Venusaur. And I have other things on my team for Mega Venusaur. I don't want to leave that to Manectric. And then he has a lot of decent fire resist, so I didn't want to worry about that. And another thing to note, Volt Switch instead of Thunderbolt or something, for one, gives me momentum. Two, Volt Switch one-shots, you can see it right here, Bulky Gyarados and Bulky Honchkrow. So they both get one-shotted by Manectric, and I outspeed both of them at max speed. So Manectric is just like a major threat to his team. So that's why I chose that. It's just amazing. I'm not going to do a huge amount of calcs, but just some that I thought were important. So next, Choice Scarf Kyurem Black. I was thinking about like a bulky Roost set, but this really just helps me with a lot of his team, just having the Choice Scarf, because I realized Kyurem Black one-shots or two-shots pretty much every Pokemon on his team. Kyrian Black will be great for things like Mega Venusaur just because of the Terravolt. Yeah, that's not even. Hold on. That's not even Kyrian. Just because of the Terravolt and the set that I'm running. So let's see. Even like defensive. Let's check it out. So yeah, 2 shots Mega Venusaur, whereas Venusaur can't really do anything back to me. So I felt that was really important. It also 2 shots things like Rhyperior, where it goes through, let's say if like he's offensive. A lot of these I'm going to calculate offensive matchups as well, because if they're defensive, then they're going to have a hard time just breaking through my team. So Ice Beam to an offensive Rhyperior just gets one-shotted. Same for like Heatran with Earth Power. So I really like this set. And one of the things that I love the most about it, check this out guys. 12 attack investment, which I don't even think I need. Gudra being like specially defensive is a thing to consider. Gudra gets one-shotted by Outrage with 0 attack investment. Like easily one-shotted. So Gudra is something I was thinking about, like that I was worried about because of having a special set, but I don't even have to worry about it. And that's another reason why I decided Choice Scarf over Bulky, because if it was Bulky, then I was gonna have a Roost, and that means I have to get rid of one of these move slots. But they're all good, you know. Fusion Bolt for the water types, Earth Power for the steel and ground, and Ice Beam for things like Venusaur and some of his other flying types. Also Ice Beam 2 shots things like Machamp, which again I said is a threat. So I really couldn't afford to have Roost just because I didn't want to get walled by Gudra, so I needed Outrage for that. Also, something to note, I did not give it max speed for a reason. For one, like I said, his team is really slow, so me being Choice Scarf, I outspeed his entire team. Even like if he puts Choice Scarf on some of his own Pokemon, which is another reason why I'm afraid he might bring Trick Room, but I don't necessarily know if I have a way to stop it. So that being said, the reason why I gave Kyrian 0 speed is again for Electivire, because if Electivire is Choice Scarfed, he will outspeed me. And I didn't want to give it max speed because then there's a chance for a speed tie and I won't be able to tell if he's Choice Scarfed or not. So I wanted to make 100% certain that I would know if he's Choice Scarfed when I go up against him. And Cross Chop does not one-shot me. I think with a crit, yeah, even, well, with a crit he has a chance to. I don't remember if Cross Chop is one of those high crit moves. But, and that's Life Orb, so if he is like Choice Scarfed, you know, it'll do even less. Whereas Outrage actually can one-shot him, which is crazy. I figured Earth Power would do the most. But that's a good thing to know too, is that I can just kind of outrage his team. So I do want to know if he's Choice Scarf right off the bat, because that, like I said, will help me with a lot of plays. That's the only thing that could outspeed my team really, is Choice Scarf Electivire. So I just wanted to be ready for that. And the reason why I'm talking about certain Pokemon more than others is because I'm really not afraid of certain Pokemon. There are some things that I do want to note, like Dusclops, if it's like a Rest Sleep Talk set, kind of just walls my team. I can't really do anything about that. Which you'll see, that's why I'm bringing some of the Pokemon I'm bringing later. So, another important one, this one will just be kind of brief. Sylveon with Heal Bell. I don't really know if I want Baton Pass. I don't know if I want Baton Pass or Size Shock. Or just a different move in general. I might change Sylveon's last move. But I realize my team is fairly weak to status. So I really want Heal Bell. You know, just in case like Kyrian gets burned. The rest are more special attackers. But things like Toxic and Poison, things like that, I really didn't want to worry about. So I really wanted the Heal Bell on Sylveon. Now the reason I put it max special defense is I don't even remember why I made it specially defensive. Because honestly, especially defensive doesn't do anything against his team. I was thinking maybe to go up against Reuniclus or Dusclops, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. I was struggling a lot with the Sylveon set. I might make it full on defensive, just because his team is pretty offensive, and that might help me take on some stuff. So that might change. Yeah, this whole Sylveon thing I'm really unsure of, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, Hyper Voice obviously for stab. Some of his stuff is weak to fairy, like Honchkrow, Machamp, things like that. You know, Goodra obviously. Sylveon is more just there to kind of like support and pivot, and to have some more weakness coverage. Yeah, I don't know. Sylveon doesn't do too much, but I don't really think there's anyone better I can bring. But let's move on to like Ditto. So Ditto, I was debating a lot over Choice Scarf or Air Balloon. I was thinking Air Balloon because it would be cool to send it in on Heatran and then it just can't touch me. But if that's the case, he could, because I would be an offensive, like quote unquote offensive Heatran, he could practically one-shot me with Earth Power once my Air Balloon does pop. And I don't want it to be like my Air Balloon is gone and I try and predict Heatran to go for a fire move and he predicts me and goes for Earth Power and then I just get one-shotted. So I realized in the end it wasn't really worth it. I'd rather be able to go into Ditto for the first time and just be able to for sure outspeed him and hit him with the Earth Power, because that does about 60% to defensive Heatran. So I figured it's better just to get that damage off as opposed to trying to beat it 1v1 with Ditto. And I gave it max attack and max speed just in case things try and set up like Rhyperior or Gyarados or even Honchkrow. It just gives me like those options to for sure outspeed them and try and take them out while I can. So just like kind of a setup counter, I guess, for this team. Another really important one, Golbat for sure. I like this spread. I don't really know like what things to show you guys as far as like damage calcs with Golbat. Well, here's one with Machamp. This is Eviolite. That's what I'm gonna run. The same spread. Machamp does nothing to me, and this is just a regular Guts. If he's choice banded, I mean, he can obviously do more, but even still, like, he really cannot touch me. And Brave Bird with the set that I'm running one shots a Machamp, and that's if he's like full on offensive. If he's defensive, then like max HP, max attack, that's a good set to run. But he still can't one-shot me, and I outspeed him. I'm not running any speed on Golbat either, just because, like I said, the only thing that would outspeed me, I mean, obviously there's things like setup mons and all that, but a lot of his things don't outspeed me, and I like the set just because all I need is Brave Bird. Mostly this is going to be my Mega Venusaur kind of like counter. Even if he's defensive, obviously that means he'll be hitting us for less damage. If he is defensive, he can do literally nothing to me. And he can probably outspeed me if he's max speed, but like I said, he can't do anything. Brave Bird 2 shots him, and I can Roost. Defog just in case like hazards become an issue with like Rhyperior if he decides to go down that route. And then Super Fang I felt was the best move, just because if I'm in that position where he wants to switch into like something to take a Brave Bird, like I'm expecting Rhyperior or Heatran, I can just Super Fang and take out half their HP right off the bat. So that's just gonna be like huge for me. I'm debating whether or not to get rid of Defog for something like Toxic, because then that helps against Dusclops, so it doesn't really set up against me, which I might do that. But at the same time, Rocks could be an issue against Kyurem and then Golbat if I'm switching in and out too much. But he might bring Heatran and Rhyperior, and one of them being offensive and one of them not. But honestly, I feel like if he wants to bring like either of those, a good lead is Manectric either way. I feel like Manectric might just be my lead right off the bat, just because I can hit so many things on his team. At least a lot of leads, like Gyarados, Heatran, Rhyperior, maybe even Electivire. Those are definitely lead Pokemon that would put me in a good, in an advantage, like right off the bat. So that's why I'm bringing Golbat, just to really help against Venusaur. That easily just takes care of that. And then just being able to half the HP of anything. Also things like Gyarados, me having Infiltrator, I can hit behind subs. If any Pokemon wants to set up a sub, I can just start like getting rid of their HP. And then last we got Slowbro. This one, it was a little tough, but I decided to go specially defensive, like max HP, max special defense, just because I really need something to ensure that I can beat Heatran. I don't want to put pressure on just Manectric to beat all of these Pokemon, especially when it beats things like Honchkrow and Gyarados and Electivire later. So I think I would much rather have Slowbro. It also helps me against things like Venusaur. That's why I gave it Scald and Psyshock, because that helps me beat Venusaur and Heatran. I actually haven't looked into the calcs for Mega Venusaur just yet. One of the sad things you can see right here, or scary things I guess, is I can't really use Slowbro against his offensive Pokemon, which that might be why I maybe do things like make Sylveon defensive, or have to use Ditto as a pivot. Well, let's see. Like an offensive Venusaur, Giga Drain will be able to two-shot me, but dang, actually Psyshock doesn't even do that much. That's like the most defensive I can get. But it'll definitely be worth it to have something like this is an old set. I gave it Thunder Wave instead, just because being able to like paralyze things and slow them down would be really nice, especially things like Dusclops if they're trying to set up. Reuniclus as well, just because obviously I can't burn or poison it. Toxic is something I really considered, but just being able to slow things down like Gyarados, Machamp, Heatran is definitely worth it. I might run a little bit more speed since the special defense doesn't matter. He still two-shots me. To maybe try and outpace Rhyperior if he's like minimum speed, and that'll be cool too, to be able to scout that kind of stuff. But I'm definitely having a hard time with Slowbro and Sylveon deciding which one should be which kind of defensive, because Slowbro being specially defensive helps me beat things like Heatran, but that's really about it. Going like full on defensive will help me probably later on beating things like Electivire. I could even go like Assault Vest and do things like still be defensive, you know, like say like max defense like that, and go like bold. So Giga Drain will two-shot me from there still, but at least I'll have a little more special defense for things like Heatran, and then be able to hit other things back. So yeah, like Heatran, if I'm say Assault Vested, would be really nice, and I could try and just heal off with Regenerator and stuff, but also then I can't use Thunder Wave, so it's a lot of things to consider. I'm sorry if this is like not 100% put together, but I have like my solid like core of what I want to bring for sure, like Kyurem, Manectric and stuff. I just more so need like switches for things, and that's what I'm having trouble with for Sylveon and Slowbro. I need them to be like defensive pivots in this game, but if like say I put one, like if I put Sylveon like physically defensive, then it's weak to things like Heatran, and if I put Slowbro specially defensive, it's weak to things like Machamp, Rhyperior, and Electivire. So this is the general team. Some things might be subject to change. If they do, I'm gonna be recording the battle the day after this, so I mean I'll need my for sure team soon. So if things do change, I'll be sure to let you guys know at the beginning of the video. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much gonna be the team. What I'm gonna be bringing. Like I said, if things do change, I'll let you know. But if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, show your support for the Aloe Valley Agrons and our first battle that's going to be happening. That'll be going up on Saturday, so be ready to enjoy that. Wish me luck. Comment down below things that maybe you would change or things for me to consider, because it's just like all learning experience. So if you guys have information now, you know, it could come in handy later on and help us win more battles. So let me know what you think about the team. Let me know if there's things that you might change. And what do you think about the team matchup and who we're going up against and all that good stuff. And until then, guys, I'm NewAgeSteel. Keep on watching. I will see you in our Week 1 NPCC battle. Later, guys.